Have you ever wondered why, no matter how many people surround you, there's still a quiet emptiness inside? The more we chase happiness in the company of others, the more we risk overlooking the most precious treasure, the one quietly resting within ourselves. What if, all this time, the secret to lasting peace and true contentment wasn't out there in the noise and excitement of the world, but gently waiting for you in the calm, silent presence of your own being? As the Buddha wisely taught, peace comes from within, do not seek it without. Imagine, for a moment, finding joy not in the approval of others, not in the constant buzz of conversations or social gatherings, but in the soothing stillness of your own heart. Can you picture it? The serenity of sitting alone. Not lonely, but complete. That's the beautiful paradox of solitude. It isn't emptiness. It's fullness in disguise. In today's video, we'll embark on a mindful journey together as we uncover 7 transformative teachings from Buddhist wisdom about the profound joy of being with yourself. These lessons aren't just about enjoying moments of quiet. They reveal how solitude can become your greatest sanctuary, a wellspring of strength, resilience, and deep clarity in a chaotic world. So, let's gently dive in. You might be surprised at just how powerful and healing it can be to truly enjoy your own company. 1. Embrace solitude over foolish company. In a world where we're constantly encouraged to surround ourselves with people, to gather followers, attend events, and stay connected 24/7, it's easy to forget the quiet, sacred value of being selective about who we allow into our lives. Not every presence is a good presence. Sometimes, solitude is far kinder than unwise company. Buddhism reminds us of this timeless truth. It is far better to be alone than in the company of those who cloud your peace. By choosing solitude, you naturally remove the noise of meaningless or negative interactions, creating a safe, uncluttered space where your mind and spirit can quietly grow. In this peaceful refuge, true wisdom begins to blossom. Without the distractions of idle talk or unproductive company, your inner voice strengthens. You start hearing your own thoughts more clearly and begin to trust them. Remember this simple but powerful idea: it's better to be alone than surrounded by people who drain your energy and dull your light. In those precious quiet moments, you'll find yourself focusing on what truly matters. Clarity rises, like mist lifting from a still morning lake, and peace starts to take firm root in your heart. 2. Spend time alone to truly know yourself. The more time you spend with yourself, the deeper you'll understand who you truly are. Solitude, free from constant distractions and external expectations, grants you the chance to reflect honestly on your desires, strengths, insecurities, and fears. This journey of self-awareness is not a luxury, it's a cornerstone of Buddhist practice. To truly know oneself is to begin walking the path of wisdom and peace. Time alone allows you to carefully observe your thoughts, question your motivations, and peel back the layers of old beliefs that no longer serve you. When you meditate, or simply sit in quiet stillness, something beautiful happens. The busy chatter of the outside world fades, and you start to uncover answers to questions you didn't even know you were carrying. It's as if the solutions to life's biggest puzzles were quietly waiting for you all along, buried beneath the noise of daily life. Every quiet moment you claim for yourself brings you one step closer to clarity. And in those peaceful pauses, you begin to see your authentic self, not the version shaped by others' opinions, but the one that has always quietly existed beneath it all. 3. Overcoming the fear of being alone. Many people shy away from solitude because they confuse it with loneliness. But here's a powerful truth: being alone is not something to fear, it's a rare and precious opportunity for inner growth. Buddhism reframes this fear beautifully. When you spend time alone, you confront your inner world directly. You learn to sit comfortably with your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, and in doing so, you realize something life-changing. You are already complete, already enough, just as you are. This practice of solitude nurtures emotional resilience. You begin to loosen the tight grip of needing constant approval, affection, or validation from the outside. The fear of loneliness often springs from the mistaken belief that we are incomplete without others. But when you dissolve this illusion, you uncover a quiet, unstoppable power within yourself. And it's liberating. You'll notice how old attachments lose their grip, how draining relationships fade in importance, and how you find unexpected strength in the stillness. Alone, you become your own anchor, steady, centered, and unshaken by the absence of others. 4. Solitude, a sacred space for self-discovery. Solitude is not an empty room. It's a sanctuary, a sacred, personal retreat where self-discovery gently unfolds. In those quiet moments, free from the constant noise of other people's opinions, you finally have the chance to listen to your own heart. Buddhism views solitude as the gateway to understanding our deeper nature, away from the endless clutter of expectations and comparisons. You start noticing what genuinely lights up your spirit, what makes you feel alive, what matters to you, and not what's been handed down by the world around you. As you cultivate this relationship with yourself, you'll begin to view life from a fresher, clearer, and more empowered perspective. In these silent spaces, you can realign your values, redefine your goals, and rediscover passions you may have set aside in the rush of daily living. In the embrace of solitude, you find self-acceptance, and in self-acceptance, you find freedom, because when you finally learn to enjoy your own company, the whole world softens. You carry peace within you, no matter where you go. As we discovered earlier, solitude isn't a space of emptiness, it's a sacred refuge where your true self begins to gently reveal itself. And now, let's continue exploring how this quiet sanctuary becomes the perfect setting for self-discovery and personal strength. When you step into solitude, you create a sacred, untouched space, a quiet refuge free from the constant opinions and judgments of others. It's like finding a clear, still pond in the middle of a bustling forest, where you can finally see your reflection without any ripples. In this calm place, you're able to tune into your own thoughts, your feelings, and your innermost desires without outside voices clouding your clarity. Buddhism views solitude not as isolation, but as a profound gateway. It is a path that leads you toward understanding your deeper nature, away from the endless clutter of external expectations and societal demands. In these quiet moments, you begin to uncover your unique strengths, rediscover passions you may have set aside, and identify what truly brings you joy. As you continue deepening this quiet, intimate relationship with yourself, something beautiful happens. Life begins to take on a clearer, brighter hue. The confusion of conflicting opinions fades, and you start seeing your path with greater confidence and empowerment. In this sacred space of reflection, you have the opportunity to realign with your core values, recalibrate your personal goals, and reconnect with the parts of yourself that might have been buried under the busy rush of daily life. Solitude gently opens the door to self-acceptance, and in that acceptance, you discover the priceless freedom of being your truest, most authentic self. It's a journey not toward loneliness, but toward profound inner peace and lasting personal growth. 5. The strength of independence. Rely on yourself. Another transformative lesson from Buddhist wisdom is the importance of self-reliance. Buddhism places great emphasis on this timeless principle, that you, and only you, are ultimately responsible for your own well-being, your happiness, and the progress of your life's journey. When you spend time alone, away from the constant distractions and influences of the outside world, you begin to realize a powerful truth: you are more capable than you ever believed. You discover that you don't need to lean on others for approval, guidance, or emotional support every step of the way. Instead, you develop the inner strength and resilience to face challenges head-on, trusting that the wisdom and courage to overcome difficulties already live within you. This journey into self-reliance transforms your character. Each time you navigate a hardship or solve a problem on your own, your confidence grows stronger. You become better equipped to handle whatever life places in your path. And with every step, you feel a rising sense of empowerment. That persistent craving for outside approval starts to fade. The constant need for reassurance and validation no longer feels essential. Now, this doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself or reject the support of loved ones. Life is still meant to be shared. But it does mean you understand a deeper truth: your ultimate strength comes from within. The less you depend on external circumstances to feel secure or fulfilled, the more peace you'll uncover within your own heart. This quiet peace comes from recognizing that everything you need to navigate life's ups and downs is already inside you. You hold the tools, the wisdom, and the resilience to weather storms and savor calm days alike. True independence isn't about cutting yourself off from the world, it's about acknowledging that your happiness, your sense of safety, and your inner peace don't rely on anyone else. You can still enjoy meaningful connections and supportive relationships, but you no longer burden others with the responsibility of completing you or sustaining your joy. Through solitude, you learn to manage your emotions independently, to solve your problems with clarity, and to navigate uncertainty with calmness and grace. Little by little, you build a deep trust in your own decisions and judgments. You stop seeking permission to feel okay. You start believing, with quiet certainty, in your own abilities to face whatever life delivers. This growing trust in yourself changes everything. You stop fearing life's uncertainties. You no longer see obstacles as threats, but as opportunities to grow. Relying on yourself teaches you to become your own best companion, your most reliable source of wisdom, encouragement, and peace. In the end, you realize something profound: the answers you've been searching for were never hidden in the world around you. They've always lived within your heart, and it's simply a matter of trusting yourself enough to gently uncover them. Having discovered the strength that comes from relying on yourself, you begin to realize something even deeper: that the most meaningful relationship you'll ever have is the one you build with yourself. And this leads us to one of the most beautiful teachings in Buddhism, The art of embracing self-companionship. 6. Embrace self-companionship. You are enough. Among the many timeless lessons within Buddhist wisdom, perhaps one of the most profound is this simple yet transformative truth: you are enough. Exactly as you are. In a world that endlessly encourages us to chase validation, whether through social approval, relationships, achievements, or material success, it can be surprisingly difficult to recognize that lasting contentment is not something others can give you. It's something that quietly rises from within. Self-companionship means embracing the idea that you can be your own best friend, your own wellspring of love, kindness, and happiness. It's about learning to cherish your own presence and to find peace in the quiet, unhurried moments you spend with yourself. Have you ever noticed how rarely we sit alone without reaching for our phones or distracting ourselves with noise? Yet, those still moments hold immense power. When you spend time alone intentionally, you begin to truly know yourself. You start to recognize your thoughts, emotions, hopes, and fears without them being colored by someone else's expectations or opinions. This self-awareness allows you to build a deeper, more honest relationship with yourself. Gradually, you stop relying on external validation to feel worthy, beautiful, or accomplished. You learn to accept both your imperfections and your strengths, to see your uniqueness not as a flaw, but as a beautiful part of your being. And with this self-acceptance comes an incredible sense of freedom, no longer weighed down by the burden of constantly trying to meet other people's expectations. You start to walk your own path with quiet confidence. Embracing self-companionship also means treating yourself with the same compassion you would naturally offer a dear friend. Too often, we are our own harshest critics, quick to judge ourselves for every mistake, every perceived shortcoming. But what if, instead of berating yourself, you chose words of encouragement and forgiveness? What if, when you stumbled, you gently reminded yourself that growth takes time, and every step, even a misstep, is part of the journey? This practice of self-kindness is deeply healing. It softens the heart and builds a healthier, more nurturing relationship with yourself, a foundation upon which inner peace and genuine happiness can truly flourish. As you grow more comfortable with your own presence, you begin to realize something remarkable. You no longer need to chase approval, affection, or reassurance to feel valuable or loved. Your sense of worth starts to come from within, and that quiet confidence radiates outward. You become more magnetic, more authentic, not because you seek attention, but because you are content being exactly who you are. This shift also involves learning to embrace solitude, not as something to be feared, but as a beautiful space for renewal. Many people fear being alone because they equate it with loneliness. But there's a world of difference between the two. Solitude is a conscious choice to enjoy your own company, to savor the peace it brings. When you welcome self-companionship, you start to discover new interests, explore hobbies that truly delight you, and find joy in the simple moments of life. Whether it's reading a thought-provoking book, taking a mindful walk under the trees, or sitting in quiet meditation, these small acts of solitude deepen your connection to yourself. They fill you with a sense of peace and fulfillment that no external source can replicate. As your relationship with yourself strengthens, you begin to cultivate true independence and emotional resilience. You realize that you, and only you, are responsible for your happiness, True fulfillment doesn't come from praise, possessions, or popularity, it flows from within. This inner peace becomes your anchor, keeping you steady and grounded even when life throws its inevitable challenges your way. Gradually, you start to view solitude not as an emptiness to be filled, but as a vital part of your personal growth and self-care. It becomes a safe, healing space where you can recharge your energy, reflect on your life, and reconnect with your true self. And with this self-companionship comes emotional strength. You become less reactive to the opinions and judgments of others. Their praise no longer inflates you, and their criticism no longer diminishes you. You grow more in tune with your own inner needs and desires, navigating life's ups and downs with a steady heart. As you become more comfortable in your own company, embracing self-companionship, you'll notice a remarkable change taking root within you, a calm, steady strength that no longer depends on the ever-changing world around you. Let's explore how this inner peace shapes not only your emotions but also your relationships and sense of identity. Over time, you begin to develop an inner calm, a quiet strength that allows you to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with grace, patience, and wisdom. This emotional independence becomes a cornerstone for building a life rooted in lasting peace and genuine self-confidence, free from the exhausting need for constant validation and approval from others. Imagine carrying your own quiet refuge within you, no matter what storms rage outside. Another beautiful benefit of self-companionship is how it naturally transforms your relationships with others. When you are truly comfortable being with yourself, you stop entering relationships out of loneliness, desperation, or fear of being alone. Instead, you start forming meaningful connections based on mutual respect, sincere love, and genuine interest in another person's being. You no longer search for someone to fill a void or complete you because, in your heart, you already feel whole and content within yourself. This gentle shift in perspective leads to healthier, more balanced relationships, ones where both individuals are free to grow and thrive without unhealthy attachments or unrealistic expectations. You begin to see that relationships aren't meant to rescue you, but to accompany you, complement you, and enrich your life in authentic ways. When you fully embrace the truth that you are enough, you naturally stop chasing external sources of happiness. You no longer seek approval through titles, possessions, or other people's attention. Instead, you become emotionally self-sufficient, steady, and resilient. The difficulties and challenges of life feel less overwhelming because you've built a strong, steady foundation rooted in self-love and self-worth. Within this sacred space of self-companionship, you'll discover a joy and fulfillment that isn't tied to what you own or who surrounds you, but to the beautiful relationship you've cultivated with your own heart and soul. And the most wonderful part is, this companionship stays with you wherever you go. It becomes your anchor in difficult times, your unwavering source of strength when doubt arises, and your steady wellspring of happiness when the world feels uncertain or unkind. You are enough, and the moment you embrace that truth, life begins to feel lighter, more joyful, and filled with a calm confidence. Every gentle step you take toward nurturing this self-companionship brings you closer to discovering the unshakable contentment that already lives quietly within you. 7. Value the power of being an individual. In a world where society constantly nudges, or sometimes pushes, as to conform to expectations, trends, and popular norms. It can be incredibly challenging to fully appreciate and embrace the quiet, powerful gift of individuality. Yet, Buddhism reminds us to value this uniqueness within ourselves. It teaches us to recognize that each person is born with their own unique set of talents, strengths, perspectives, and inner wisdom. Being an individual means having the courage to embrace who you truly are without feeling pressured to fit into the molds and labels that society often places upon you. It's about celebrating your differences and understanding that your individuality is not a flaw to be corrected, but a strength to be honored. When you spend intentional, mindful time alone, you open the door to reconnecting with your authentic self, free from the relentless opinions, judgments, and expectations of others. You begin to hear your own thoughts clearly. You reflect deeply on your personal desires, your values, and your priorities, and you begin to better understand what truly matters to you. This quiet practice of introspection allows you to see yourself not as a collection of roles or labels given by society, but as a distinct, whole, and beautiful individual. In this peaceful space, you're free to honor your own beliefs, your values, and your passions, without outside pressure trying to reshape or suppress them. Appreciating your individuality means finally understanding and accepting that you were never meant to be like everyone else. And that's not only okay, it's one of the most beautiful and liberating truths you can realize. As we've just reflected, embracing your individuality is a gentle act of honoring your true nature, a powerful reminder that you were never meant to be a copy of anyone else. Now, let's continue to uncover why following your own path is one of the greatest freedoms you can give yourself. You are here to follow your own unique path, to make choices that reflect your true self, and to live a life aligned with who you genuinely are. Recognizing this simple yet profound truth can be incredibly liberating. It frees you from the exhausting habit of constantly comparing yourself to others or seeking approval from the outside world. Imagine what it would feel like to release yourself from that endless cycle. Instead of chasing someone else's version of success, you begin to trust your own judgment. You listen more closely to the quiet wisdom of your inner guide, knowing deep down that your uniqueness is not a weakness, it's what makes you special, valuable, and worthy in this world. In a society that often encourages us to seek worth through career achievements, popularity, or material wealth, Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us to turn inward. It teaches us to find our true value not in how we measure up to the world's ever-changing standards, but in the authenticity of our own hearts. The more you learn to value your individuality, the less you feel the need to meet other people's expectations. You come to realize that your worth has nothing to do with how well you fit into society's narrow definitions of success. This subtle yet powerful shift in perspective helps you build genuine self-confidence. You begin to feel a quiet pride in simply being yourself. Being an individual also means having the courage to stand alone when necessary. There will be moments, perhaps more than you expect, when your values, beliefs, or choices don't align with those around you. In those times, it's important to stay true to yourself and honor your uniqueness, even if it means walking a path no one else is willing to take. Buddhism teaches us that true strength isn't found in blending in or pleasing others, but in standing firm in your authenticity. Part of that inner strength is having the bravery to be yourself, Even when others disagree, question, or criticize you, when you begin to truly respect your uniqueness, you naturally stop worrying about whether you fit in, and start focusing more on living in alignment with your personal values. Accepting your individuality also empowers you to make choices that reflect your own beliefs, passions, and life goals, rather than copying what others are doing. You gradually let go of the pressure to chase after goals or lifestyles that don't resonate with your spirit. Instead, you create a life that feels meaningful, purposeful, and entirely your own. This sense of personal freedom is one of the most precious gifts that comes from embracing your uniqueness. It grants you the courage to shape your own journey, free from the heavy weight of society's expectations. And valuing your individuality doesn't mean cutting yourself off from others. On the contrary, it allows you to connect with people in a more honest, open, and meaningful way. When you honor your own uniqueness, you naturally create space for others to do the same. This leads to deeper, more genuine relationships because you're no longer pretending to be someone you're not. You show up in life as your true, unfiltered self, and in doing so, you attract people who value you for exactly who you are. People are drawn to authenticity. When you accept your true self, you invite relationships built on mutual respect and genuine understanding. A big part of valuing your individuality is realizing that your unique perspective and life experiences have something meaningful to offer the world. Every person's journey is different. The challenges you've faced, the lessons you've learned, and the wisdom you've gathered shape how you view life, and that viewpoint has value. By embracing your uniqueness, you contribute something to the world that no one else possibly can. Your voice, your ideas, and your actions matter precisely because they come from your personal, irreplaceable perspective. And when you finally see this, you stop trying to mimic others and start showing your real, honest self with quiet confidence. In the end, valuing your individuality means accepting and celebrating the beauty of your own journey. It's about recognizing that your life path, with all its joys, challenges, triumphs, and setbacks, belongs to you alone. It's about standing firmly in your truth, even when the world around you tries to pull you in different directions. Buddhism reminds us that the journey to peace, wisdom, and enlightenment begins with being true to yourself and living in alignment with your own nature. When you embrace that truth, life opens up in ways you never imagined. When you fully accept your individuality, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel a deep sense of freedom, a lightness in your spirit and a strength within your soul. This inner strength helps you live with greater intention, finding joy not in imitation, but in authenticity. Your days start to feel more meaningful, as every choice you make aligns more closely with your truest self. By honoring your own uniqueness, you naturally become a quiet light of truth in a world that so often prefers uniformity. In societies where blending in is often easier than standing out, you quietly inspire others by simply being yourself. Your example encourages those around you to embrace their own uniqueness and to live lives that feel honest and true to who they really are. And in doing so, you help create a kinder, more compassionate world, a world where differences are celebrated, where creativity is nurtured, and where individuality is no longer something to be hidden, but something to be honored. It's important to remember this: you are already enough. Just as you are, there's nothing you need to prove, no approval you must earn, and no image you need to maintain in order to be worthy of happiness. Peace and belonging. By valuing your true self, your voice, your thoughts, your presence, you open the door to a life filled with real, lasting happiness, deep inner peace, and a contentment that doesn't fade when circumstances change. The joy of being completely at peace with yourself is one of the most precious gifts that Buddhism offers us. And when you begin to truly enjoy your own company, solitude is no longer something to fear or avoid. It becomes a sacred, healing space, a space for growth, for reflection, and for rediscovering the quiet joy that has always lived inside you. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. If this message touched your heart, or if it offered you a moment of clarity or peace, we warmly invite you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, Daily Dharma Wisdom, and share this message with someone who might need it. We'd also love to hear from you. How do you find joy in your own company? What practices, reflections, or quiet moments help you reconnect with yourself? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's inspire and uplift one another with our stories, insights, and wisdom. Until next time, may you walk gently on your path, with peace in your heart and the courage to be beautifully, completely yourself.